Julie from the Heart of Feather Heart Temple YouTube site, 12/17/2018. I was driving down the road a couple summers ago, and I saw this woman in a particular religious clothing standing outside. And I told my friend, you need to pull over. I have to talk to this woman. So he pulled over, I got out, and I had to get permission from her husband to talk to her. And although very nice, or on the surface level he was very nice, he stood there watching and listening to every word we said to each other. And she was nervous, but was very happy and accommodating to me as a human being. I have only seen this once in my lifetime with that particular religious group. One woman stood out. And our conversation was really beautiful. In fact, in the middle of it, my friend told me to look around, and when I looked around, people were coming out on their porches looking at us talking. She was thankful for me, and I was thankful to get to talk to her. But that was the only one that I could see that spoke my language, or our language, the language of humanity, openly. She was very well guarded in the way she talked to me, and the words she chose, and looked at her husband guardingly, as if she wanted to make sure she wasn't going to make him angry. And I left that conversation with tears in my eyes and a very, very sad pain in my heart for her, because as I drove away, I watched what he did. And I won't say what he did. Her husband. But I thought on the way home and cried because I got to talk to a woman who was oppressed beyond words. And let me tell you something, people. I've talked to other oppressed women who are not wearing religious garbs. They too were guarded by their men. I have seen this 1,000 times as far as outside of that religious organization. I've seen this oppression of women more than 1,000 times in my lifetime. I'm sorry. I'm correcting myself. I've seen it over and over and over. And it is very apparent to me that even though we live in a country, or supposed to live in a country, where women are not oppressed, that it's illusionary. And that is something that I have got to talk about in videos, because there has been a managed, quote, managed enslavement of all of us on this planet. And a lot of it is directed individually and collectively on individual females, and we are getting programming on collective in collective ways on the female. They're dragging us from one end of the perspective, one end, and I've talked about this before, I know I have. They're taking the female into becoming more masculine, and on the other end more, and I'm going to say it, and there's going to be people who are going to get offended, I don't really care, on the whorish, sluttish area, from one end to the other. And the men, they're taking them into more of a feminine round, a feminine bounds on this end, and on this end a very dominating and violent. And moving everyone into a complete state of a confusion in the brain. It's very sad to be watching all this go on from my perspective. It's very sad. There are days that I try and I thank whatever created me that I have another day of life. But I do struggle in it because I see all these things going on over and over and over. And I have tried to help oppressed women because I have been that oppressed myself. Are put in a position where you have to shut your mouth. Well, not anymore. So I say things in a certain way, and if you are in my wave of frequency, you'll get it. If not, you'll either be moved to attack me or be moved to get away from me. Either way, I'd prefer that you get away from me. Because I've had a lifetime of abuse and neglect and all that, and I don't say that to get sympathy from anybody. That's not why I'm saying it. It is a part of what happens to people who are born in a certain frequency, and there is not much we can do about it but live, and live well. There is something that is always helping us. I don't know how, I don't know where it comes from, but out of nowhere it seems to help us. So, anyway, I just had to say those things about the domination and degradation of women, even though we are all experiencing this, including men. They're just getting it on a different level of thought, that's all. But the main purpose of all of this is to lower your brain frequency into a more manipulative and controllable state of existence, so that you are, again, and I'll say it again and again and again, no threat to the system of control that is not controlled by, I don't think they're human. Call me crazy if you want. I don't think they're aliens either. And I don't think they fly in spaceships. I think maybe there are beings that do. But I think they use them as a smokescreen to cover up for what they really are, because there's not very many of them. I am convinced of that. And that they hide behind the psychopaths and the narcissists. In fact, I even think they create them. And there's other things that go on too that I think, but I'll get to that later. But have a beautiful day, beautiful people. And don't let anyone silence your voice. I have a couple friends that can't say certain things because they'll be fired from their jobs. It's a pretty sad day, isn't it? It's called oppression, not tolerance, because the people who preach tolerance are the most intolerant bastards you'll ever want to meet. Because if you don't think like they do, they're going to attack you and they're not going to tolerate you. But at the same time, they're going to tell you about tolerance. Tolerance, and I've said this before, tolerance to them is making us submissive. That's what tolerance means to us. Submission, being submissive to their way of thinking. And I'm tired of it. Why should we be tolerant? Be intolerant of their bullshit. Be intolerant of their lies. Be intolerant of the brain conditioning. And here's something else valuable that you'll remember. If they don't have the wiring for those understandings and they're stuck on stupid, thank you, Kim. My friend Kim always says, stuck on stupid, Julie, they're stuck on stupid. If they're stuck on stupid and stuck in their brain conditioning, you cannot open up their brain and put a higher understanding in it. It is not going to happen if they don't have the wiring for it. And a friend of mine once said, you can't open up a monkey's brain and put a human's consciousness in it. Somebody who is thinking high vibrationally, you cannot open up that the monkey's brain and put the higher awareness and perception brain into that monkey. It's not going to happen. It'll short circuit and probably kill the monkey. So, sometimes you have to leave people where they are and let them come out and let them evolve if that's what is meant to happen. Anyway, have a beautiful day, beautiful people. That's a long one, huh?